people ask sometimes, what should I write in my bio? Like, we kind of covered the format to do it in, and we didn't touch as much about specifically what to write. And I think the reason why we didn't touch on that as much is because it just depends on you. You know, it really depends on what's your account. Are you trying to build this TikTok just for the sake of TikTok? Are you building it as part of another brand? There's a lot of different variables that go into that. I think the advice I would give you is just that, two things. One, you have to be aware of how people are going to read it, right? Like, imagine you're not the TikTok owner. Imagine you just stumbled on this TikTok page and you read that text. Like, what is it going to make sense to you? Does it match? I mean, does it connect to why they clicked through from the video to your account? And the second thing is that relevancy. If you made a video that was funny and it's comedic, and I like that, and I go to your account, and then your bio has absolutely nothing to do with being funny or any of the themes that you touch on, I'm less likely to follow you. I think that's, I've seen this a lot in other social media platforms. People just don't really, they miss this connection. In advertising, we call this conversion scent. So if I run an ad, and this ad is happy and bright and it really hits on some specific theme, they click that ad and they go to your page, and your page is all black and red and depressing and it uses strong words when before it used fluffy words, and there's a disconnect and it's jarring and people leave. Well, that same concept applies to social media accounts. Just, you have to think about it. Like, if I'm posting a specific type of video, they click that, they go to my account, it has to carry over psychologically from what they first saw. And if it matches, my bio matches, like I say things that I would expect from that content I saw, then you're more likely to get a follower. I think also one other thing is just that people forget to give them a reason to follow you. That's another thing. Like, in your bio is a great opportunity to tell them why they should follow you, right? Tell them, you post once a day. You post once a week. You post comedic shorts once a week. You post dance videos once a week, whatever it is, you just give them some reason, right, to hit the follow button, because otherwise, why would they do it? Why would they go out of their way to hit the follow button? So there's a lot of things you can do, just saying, like, give them some, even if it's just like, you're an interesting person, tell them why you're an interesting person, right? Because if you're an interesting person, they'll probably be interested in your content. So yeah, that's kind of my advice on it, but it's just so highly variable that we can't really give you a template for what to write.
Yeah, I think you can think of it almost as a billboard on a highway. So people are going to be driving by very fast, and they have 1 or 2 seconds to look at it very briefly, and you have that small window of opportunity to communicate what your account is about. And as I said, you could give them a reason to follow you. What we've seen sometimes, for example, if your video will go viral and you'll have thousands of people coming into your profile, and sometimes people will follow you just based on what you say in your bio. Doesn't necessarily have to scroll through all the videos. So if your one video goes viral and gets exposed to a lot of views, you can convert those visitors into followers just using the bio. And you can, a simple sort of way to think about it also is just to explain what they can expect in the videos. And don't be afraid to show your personality and be yourself, but also it should make sense and should match with the type of content that you have in there. So for example, for me, I'm posting videos for my personal brand, and I'm doing both marketing videos where I do sort of tips, but also do kind of funny and silly videos just for fun of it. And my bio represents that. So in my bio, I do say that I'm Chief Marketing Officer Reflecting, to sort of show that I have authority and I know what I'm talking about in terms of marketing topics. But then it also says, too old for TikTok, too young for dad jokes. Just to sort of show that it's not all about business, and I can have some fun as well, and it shows my personality a little bit there. So I think it shows people what they can expect in the follow-up videos.
Yeah, I think one pushback I often will get is, you say that we have to do these things in our bio, but my favorite influencer doesn't do that. And, like, for instance, the most popular person on TikTok right now is some 15-year-old girl who dances, and that's it. She has 60 million followers, and she just dances. She's a good dancer, but if you read her bio makes no sense. It's literally, I think she put I don't understand the hype either, right? What's the point of that? She didn't even use all the text she could have used and whatever. The thing is that those people that you're trying to compare yourself to, you're looking at them so late in the growth of their account that the rules don't apply, right? If you're trying to grow an account, well, you have to optimize your bio. These people were famous before, you know what I mean? A lot of these people came over from YouTube and millions of followers there, so it doesn't matter what they put. It's kind of like when celebrities on Twitter will put some really vague bio that doesn't make any sense. It's because everybody knows who they are. You know what I mean? They don't need to. They're so large, it just doesn't matter. Optimizing their bio is just not the top of their mind. So influencers and celebrities do it differently because they already have millions of followers. And I'm assuming if you're watching this video, you don't have millions of followers, so you're probably not, you're going to have to actually follow some basic advice.
Yeah, famous people either on TikTok or famous people from outside TikTok that come there play by different rules, just like you said. That's very true. And think of it as when you're scrolling through the feed and you see a really cool video, you might click on that profile, and then you see it has 10 million followers. You can follow it immediately because you know it's a big account, they have the authority. It doesn't really sort of matter because they have one good video, and it's likely they're going to have more good videos. A lot of people just follow straight away like that. But if you see an interesting video, click on it, and the profile has 100 followers, and bio is confusing, and there's only 5 videos, you're not going to gain more followers in that way. So it absolutely matters on what stage you're in as well. And if you're just starting out, you should use all the tools and all the levers at your disposal to optimize and grow your account. It's different than the famous people. Links in a bio are the only gateway users have from TikTok to any other place outside of TikTok. For example, a website or YouTube channel. So this is your opportunity to drive business results, not just to grow inside TikTok. In this lecture, we're going to talk about two types of links there are. Number one, button links, and number two, regular links. The button links are YouTube and Instagram links. When you're setting up your account, you have the opportunity to connect your Instagram profile and your YouTube channel directly into the link. In the actual account, they're displayed as buttons. So you can click on that button, and it'll take you directly to Instagram or YouTube, for example. Now, everybody has the opportunity to do the button links. That's standard across all of the accounts. If you're a business, obviously it's a great opportunity to drive people, for example, the YouTube channel, same with a personal brand. If you do have a YouTube channel where you do update regularly, you can drive people there, or on Instagram, it is up to you. So those are button links. Regular links are kind of like in Instagram, where you can have a link in bio. One thing to note, right now, not all of the users have the opportunity to have a link in bio. It is something they're testing, so they've selected a lot of people at random that have the opportunity to put a link in their bio, so it's a regular link to your website. So not all regular users have that, but all verified accounts have the opportunity to put a link in bio. So if you have a verified account, if you're a business or a personal brand or even an aggregate account with a verified account, you can have a link in your bio. Now you can use a link to send people to your website, for example, if you're a business, or you can send them to a lead magnet where you can collect email addresses. There's so many different ways to use this. Obviously, you shouldn't link to like Instagram or YouTube because you do have those button links for that. So use the opportunity to drive people to a place outside of TikTok and drive more business results. If you're all interested in becoming an influencer, meaning that you only care about growing your account inside TikTok, you don't care about monetization outside, you only care about monetizing on the following that you actually have, then you don't necessarily need to put in any other account. If you don't want people to leave your profile, you just want to follow you there, that is perfectly fine. But most of personal brands and businesses will want to get people outside of TikTok so they can generate revenue and create new customers. There's one special type of a link that's not seen on any other type of social media platform, and it is unique to TikTok, and that's specifically for app companies. If you are a verified app business, you have the opportunity to put in download app link directly in your profile, and users can download your app without ever leaving TikTok. This is incredibly powerful, and we haven't seen this on any other type of social media. But again, you do need to have a verified account in order to be able to do this. As a pro tip, you can use emojis in your bio to direct people to your link. So you can very simple use a hand emoji or an arrow emoji that will point people to that link in the bio, and again, just get more attention so you can drive more results out of your TikTok account. So right now, TikTok gives you the options to link directly to your YouTube and Instagram. It's not the link in bio, but in your bio, there's actually a button that carries people to those other platforms. And we've seen that most of the bigger creatives are using these links. And the main objective is that you don't want to distract people from leaving your profile, and you want to send them to other places. But I don't think that's much of an issue. If anything, you can gain a follower on other platforms. And it's good to sort of build a brand across different social media platforms in that way. So in general, I would say it's a good thing, and you should look it up. But it really, I think the main sort of thing you should consider is what's the objective of the account. So if you are trying to grow your YouTube account, then absolutely you should link up to YouTube. We've seen that work really well, and people are gaining. Right now, it's, for example, hard to grow a lot of followers on Instagram, but you could do it through TikTok and see a lot of traffic through TikTok that way. So sort of consider what's your objective and what's the sort of end result you're trying to achieve. And if it is to grow on the platforms or build a personal brand or build a business brand for that matter, then it's a good idea to include YouTube and Instagram in your account.
Yeah. I think people really underestimate the value of a multi-channel follower. So, sure, like maybe it distracts people a little bit, so maybe a couple of them forget to follow you on TikTok because they're distracted by your Instagram or something. But for the most part, while you might lose a couple people that way, you're going to gain a lot of people who follow you on Instagram, follow you on YouTube, and follow you on all the other whatever else you link to. That's like way more important. It's way more important to build affinity across multiple platforms. And then when you post a YouTube video and post a TikTok video, that person gets hit with 2 notifications on 2 platforms they use. So that's way more valuable than just siloing your TikTok followers to just your TikTok. The only time I would say don't link out is if one of your accounts is just really underdeveloped. Meaning, like, if you have a really good TikTok account, TikTok strategy, and your content is working on the platform, don't link out people to your YouTube channel. If your YouTube channel has 100 followers and you haven't really figured out your content format on YouTube yet, it just looks like crap. That is usually a negative thing. Like, don't show off another account if it's less impressive than the account they just landed on. wait until you have that account to the point where it's respectable, like it has enough videos or it has enough posts, or it actually has some engagement. It's not just an appendage of you're not. A lot of people feel like they have to have a social media account on every single main social media platform out there, and it's just not the case. Like, focus on the ones you can actually do well. Don't just add it for the sake of adding it. So yeah, that's the only situation where I'd say hold off.
Yeah, and also if your content is very different. So for example, if your TikTok is all about, for example, maybe you're sharing personal content, you're doing sort of funky videos, and then Instagram is like all business and professional, maybe it doesn't make sense to link those up because there are different strategies and different types of content, and the followers you have on Instagram may not be as similar as the followers you have on TikTok, for example. So first of all, yes, it's okay to not use that link at all. That is perfectly fine. What type of link you put in there very much depends on your strategy. So if you're a business, that's a pretty obvious answer that you should put the link to your website, and whether you're trying to sell something directly or collect leads or you have a specific landing page. So if you want to be more advanced, you could have a specific landing page just for TikTok viewers for your business. And then if people click on it, they say, coming from TikTok, oh, welcome, here is a special offer for you, etc., etc. This is a good way to sort of get people through the funnel and get them to convert into actual purchasers. If you have an aggregate account or a personal account, it depends. So if you're trying to sell something or monetize, you could use those links, for example, affiliate products or whatever products you're marketing. What we've also seen is sometimes people will just put a link to their YouTube channel, even though their YouTube channel is already linked through the button in the account, but they even put it in the link in bio and it's visible. So if your strategy is to grow your YouTube account as much as possible, and you're just using TikTok as sort of a funnel for that traffic, then by all means put in that link, and you can even adjust the bio and then just say, click on the link and follow me on YouTube as well. So it very much depends on what's your strategy, and again, what's the end result you're trying to go for.
Yeah, and I generally suggest to people with your link is that I think a lot of people have anxiety about losing potential leads or traffic from TikTok, especially when they're doing it early on. So they're like, I'm not using my link. Am I just wasting money because I'm not pointing them towards something important? My general advice is just that, like, I wouldn't have anxiety about the link, because the link is just basically going to push them towards a goal from your account. So if you're selling merchandise or you have a company or something that you want to push the traffic towards, and that's set up well and optimized, that's when you use the link. But if you don't have something yet, that's fine. Like, it's fine to build your account now without trying to have a goal yet. So if you build up affinity and more people follow you and more people see more and more of your videos, then later on you can put in the link, and then you benefit from all of that traffic build up and all that affinity and all that TikTok authority, essentially, you've built up. So my general suggestion is, like, you need to figure out what the goal of your account is, right? It says to link to that goal, but I don't generally suggest putting up that link until you have somewhere to push them towards that's reasonably optimized. Like, you don't just send them to a random sales page. Like, you need to actually find a sales page that's going to appeal to them. Remember, everybody's clicking through on a mobile phone, so it needs to be mobile optimized. So until you figured that out, I generally just suggest leaving out the link. I wouldn't really worry about it.
Yeah, I mean, it has to make sense, and the experience has to be fluid, and transition. So when they come from TikTok, they have a certain expectation of what they're going to see. It has to match on the other side as well. Your profile picture or your profile logo are the first touch points you're going to have with your account. The first place you're going to see your profile picture or the logo is actually in the feed. Over here, I have an example. Most of the videos on TikTok are discovered through the actual feed. So the first time people are going to see your logo and your picture is in the feed. Here I have an example of a video. This is from F1. And as you can see on the right side, there is the logo. It says F1. Notice how super tiny it is. So you really don't have a lot of space to communicate. And we're going to talk about what exactly should be in your logo of your business or profile picture if you are a personal account or an aggregate account. So first note, it is very, very small amount of space that you have there. And only then, if I click on that profile, the actual logo gets larger and I can see a bit more. So F1 did a good job not having it too flooded. There's not too much information. It's very simple, very, very straight to the point. And any F1 fan will notice it right away. You know what the logo is, but there's a white background, very simple. So this is the profile picture and the profile logo. So as you can see, the logo in this case, or if I go to following, there's a profile picture of a person, are very small and they are circular. So if I go ahead and click on the profile, again, it's a circle. One thing to note, you do not need to upload a circular picture. You can just upload a square or rectangle and you'll be able to edit it afterwards in the uploading process. So we talked about profile pictures and profile logos. However, there's also a third option. What you can do is upload a profile video. So it is just what it sounds. It's a little video that you can upload, and it'll appear just where your picture is, but it would actually be a moving picture. It would be a video. Now, I haven't seen this used on any successful account or a profile. It's really not used at all on TikTok right now, so it's not something I would recommend. That's why I'm not talking about it too much. But just so you know, you do have the possibility to upload a video instead of the picture over there. If you are a business, it is pretty simple. You can just upload your logo. Ideally, you would just upload the actual icon, not the full logo, depending on the size, because it is so small on TikTok. For example, here we have the World Health Organization, and something that I would criticize on this account is that the logo, there's too much stuff. It's too tiny. People are not actually going to be able to read the World Health Organization and the actual icon as well. And this is the bigger version in the account. If I would see this in the feed, it would be very, very tiny, and it would be hard to actually see what it is. So ideally, what I would do if I was in charge of this account, I would remove the phrase World Health Organization. I would remove it altogether and just simply have the actual visual logo, or get rid of the logo and just have, for example, WHO. And then people will know what it means and they can actually go through. But the account, the logo is so tiny in the feed, nobody's going to be able to read this. ESPN is a great example, so they know how tiny the logo is, and they just put in the E, and it's very simple, very good colors. It's got the red logo that pops up at you, it's got the white background, so it's not disturbing. And if it would be very, very tiny in a feed, you'll still be able to see quite a lot of it. So this is a good example of using the logo. Here we have another example of UFC. Again, the logo is super simple, plain colors, black and white. That's there. And it's small enough where you can actually read it, but it's not too distracting. So a great example of a logo there as well. If it is your personal brand that you are trying to market, what you should use is your profile picture and the actual face shot. Because the profile picture is so tiny in the feed, don't do a full body picture. Don't even do upper body picture. Just use a simple face shot. Also try to minimize the shoulders. Just focus on the actual face. Here is an example of what not to do. So you can see this is a full body shot, and the picture is so small you really can't tell who this person is. Even if I knew this guy, and let's say I wouldn't see the actual video, but just looking at the profile picture, I wouldn't be able to say who it is because I cannot see. And even if I go to the profile and open the profile, it's still quite small. So you should not use your full body shot, just your face. Here's a great example of a profile picture. So Jack Black, very simple. His face is right in the circle. It is a fantastic picture, very memorable. Everybody will know right away who it is. And even if you see this picture in the feed, it'll be very small, but you'll actually be able to tell that it is Jack Black. Since this is a first touch point you have with your potential users, you should put some effort into the picture. And also another tip, you should try to differentiate the background from your actual face. Since the picture is small, and if the background is the same color, or if it's as dominant as your face, you'll be able to tell the things apart. So ideally, you would have a background that's further away from you, or you could also have a different color background or have it blurry, and then we can separate it. Here's an example of a pretty bad picture. This is a family, and I'm sure it's a beautiful picture, but it is black and white, and they're right behind the background. And even this profile is hard to see, and especially if this was in a feed, you really couldn't tell what's in this picture. Will Smith is another fantastic example. As you can see, bright colors, his face is right in there, and you know exactly what you can expect in this profile when you click on it. Face of Will Smith. If you do have an aggregate account, there's a lot of freedom that you could do with your profile picture or the logo. But a lot of aggregate accounts tend to create a logo for their account based on a theme that they're using, and they just have that instead of using a profile picture. Here I have an example of Puberty that just basically a profile with funny videos, and it's a big account with 1.6 million followers, and they have created a little logo, just the letter P, and they use it as their profile logo. Again, when this is small, it's going to be very easy to read, easy to distinguish, and the black icon is going to be very visible in the feed, on the home feed, in the actual videos. Leader Club is another example of an account that's an aggregate account. Over here, they post motivational and business advice and those type of videos, and they've also created a little logo. It's an icon that has the letter L. Again, when this is going to be in a feed, it's still readable, small, uses good colors, so it has just very simple white and blue. That's something you should take advantage of when you're creating your logo. You should use either bright colors or very simple colors. Don't sort of mash it up with having a rainbow, something that's easy to distinguish and easy to look at. To recap, now you know that if you have a profile picture, you can focus on the face and really use a profile picture because it's going to be very small. If you're a business or an aggregate account, you can create a logo or use your existing business logo. Make sure that you use an icon of the logo that's still very easily readable, and also use the colors that'll be to your advantage when it is shown in the actual feed. In the next lecture, we're going to take a look at how you can create your profile picture or logo from scratch. We mentioned that your profile picture and your logo is really the first point of contact your potential customers or your followers are going to have with your profile. It's really worth investing some time making sure that you have a professional looking setup. So in this lecture, we're going to talk about how you can get professional pictures that look fantastic and or create a great logo for your business. So let's start off talking about the profile picture. First off, I want to show you the type of pictures that I was using before and what it looked like after I actually invested a bit of time, a bit of money, and what kind of headshots I got afterwards. So this is a picture that I was using for the longest time. Now, it's so cringy now, I think it's terrible. But at the time, I thought it was pretty acceptable. As you can see, it's taken with iPhone using the portrait mode. I thought I was being very artistic. realistic and also not looking at the camera. The quality is terrible. Everybody knows that it's a portrait shot with an iPhone, and as a personal brand, this is really something you should not be communicating if you want to come across as professional. So this is the picture that I had originally, and then I decided to do a photo shoot and hire a professional photographer. You do not have to do that option, hire a professional. That's one of the more expensive options, but just want to give you the comparison of what it looks like and what that kind of investment might turn out into. Also a good idea, if you're not just doing pictures for TikTok, but in general, if you do want to build a personal brand, it's always useful and a great idea to have great pictures for yourself. I've used the pictures that I've created in so many podcast interviews and YouTube video thumbnails and all over the place. So it's really, really a good investment. If you're building a personal brand, I highly recommend getting pictures. So this is the original that I was using before, terrible. And this is one example of a new shot that I got. It's from the professional photographer. I spent about $150 on about a 1 hour session. We ended up getting a lot of pictures. I got about 20 edited shots at the end. It really depends on your area and what level of photographer you're going to hire. You can do it much cheaper, but also much more expensive. Well, actually, probably not much cheaper, but a little bit cheaper, but definitely much more expensive. So this is one example of a shot. I don't use a lot of this for very professional because I think, well, one, my head is a bit skewed, but I just like the way the picture looks. I've used it in my less professional settings. Here's another picture. And this one, I do have some scenarios where I didn't want to use necessarily profile shot, but I wanted to have a professional picture looking of me. So this is a good one that I've used in several situations. Makes me look like I'm really thinking about something. And then finally, this picture is my favorite in terms of profile pictures. This is the one that I decided to use across all of my social media, the actual profile picture. To me, it's important that I'm smiling, and I think even if you are very professional in your business, it's still a good idea to smile and come across as a real human being, and it's okay to be happy on pictures. So let's use that one, and then I even cropped it out and I zoomed it in. So this is what I use on all of my social media. As you can see, it's very much focused on the face. There's no distractions. The background is very blurry and light color. So what really stands out is the profile picture. When you see my picture in TikTok, even in a small size on the feed, you can still actually make out quite a good image out of it. So this is the option that I've decided to use, professional photographer, but there's several different options that you can use that are on a lower budget. So the cheapest option that you could probably do is take an existing profile picture that you have, an existing shot, and it might be a good picture, but maybe there's background, it's not blurry, or it stands out, there's maybe some other people or things that are distracting, some other visual noise. So what you can do is use a tool like clippingmagic.com. This one, and you basically just upload the picture, and the picture will use artificial intelligence and other technology to crop out the actual background. As you can see, this is the final result. You come out with a nice, clean background. So this is probably the cheapest thing you can do and the simplest. It doesn't work perfectly all the time, depending on what is in the background and how it looks. When the background is blurry, like in this image, it's much easier because then it's going to cut out only the crisp images. If you're very close to the background and it's not blurry, then it may not be as easy, but this is something that you can try out, and it's pretty quick and it works pretty well. The second option, which is very much affordable on budget, is you can rent a DSLR camera yourself. Now, this will require a bit of time to actually learn how the camera works, but depending on the type of camera you get, some of them are actually pretty simple. So you should go to, if you have a place where you can rent cameras locally, depending on your location, you can usually rent them locally. They can be anywhere between 40, 50 bucks and way up, but they start quite low for a day. And if you have a place where you can rent them in a physical shop, they will recommend what's the best camera for you. Depending on your location, again, there's also a couple of platforms, websites where you can rent gear like camera equipment. Now, this will be lower quality than hiring a professional photographer, but actually, if you can just watch maybe some tutorials and do some simple search online, you can get a decent picture that you can take sort of a selfie style with a proper DSLR camera. And then the two professional options is you could either go to a studio. Now, every city, major city and also small cities, will have photo studios. You can go in, get a professional picture taken with the proper background and everything set up. That's one option. Or you can hire a photographer, which is a bit more expensive, but then you also get more variety because you can do indoor pictures, outdoor pictures. They'll go around with you and they'll work with you one-on-one. So that's really the more expensive options, but there's also really good return on investment I think you're going to get. If you are building a personal brand, these pictures are going to be valuable outside of TikTok for a long time. And the next option is creating your actual logo. Now, the cheapest one is making your own logo from scratch using a tool like Photoshop. Photoshop is a paid tool, but you can get a free trial on it. Now, I wouldn't recommend this option unless you are a graphic designer or very skilled, and if you are, then you need to watch this part of the video. It is really hard to figure out a tool like Photoshop, and you're going to spend so much time that your time is better invested in actually just buying a logo or getting somebody else to do it. So unless you have the skill, I wouldn't recommend building your own logo from scratch. One of the cheapest options is creating a logo using a logo maker. So there are a lot of websites that allow you to use that. Some of them are free, some of them are paid, but actually you can get pretty good options out of this. So here we have one example. This is from Wix. So you can go just to wix.com/logo/maker and you start off by putting your business name. So let's say this was a drone company, I would say drone. Then it's asking you what is the logo for. So this is the industry of the business you want to add in. So maybe I would write technology. Then it'll ask you how the logo should look and feel. Now, if it's techie, we can say techie, maybe dynamic as well. So these are the two options. And then it's going to give you a couple of logos, and you can say which one you prefer or you don't like either of them. So maybe like this one and this one, I don't like either of them. So I think this one is nice. This one is clean, like that one. And they'll ask you, what do you want to use the logo for? We'll put social media next, and we can just wait a while until it gives us a good logo. So it spit out a couple of logos for us, and here are the different options. You can go ahead and select something that you like and then customize it some more. As you can see, even though we said drone, it's not very, very intelligent, so it still give us a ship, but it's based on the other input that we have created. If you don't like any of the logos, what you can do is simply refresh the page and you'll get a new set of logos based on the same input criteria. So if you like any of them, you can go ahead and click on customize, create an account with Wix, and then you get your logo. Another option for Logo Maker is logomaster.ai. This tool is a little more expensive. It's about $25, but the results are actually pretty good. So again, it's a very similar process. We'll put in, let's say it's a drone company, it's called Drone. And then what I really like is that it asks you if you want it for personal branding or product or startup or business or an organization. This is really, really nice. So if this was for let's say it was a startup, so I'm gonna go ahead and click it, startup, and then it asks us to select at least 3 logos that are within our style. So let's say like this one, maybe this one, and I'll go ahead and click on this one, go next. And then you want to select the type of color palette that you think best stands out. I'll create blue, and I'll skip the slogan, we don't need that one. And then it asks us for an icon, which is actually really nice, so we can actually specify. I'll go ahead and put in drone, or search for already icons that are drone related. What is nice is it spits out a lot of different icons and also other keywords that are relevant to that icon. I'll select this little guy, looks like a drone, and see results. Now, as you can see, they created our logos using the icon or without the icon, and using some of the styles that we have actually liked before. This is a really cool option, and I think this is actually really good quality for a logo and a great start. So if you like it, you can save it for later, edit it, or you can buy it straight out, and it'll erase these watermarks around. It'll give it to you a couple of different options. The cheapest one is about $25, and I think it's a really good investment for a logo if you're serious about your business. If you don't want to create your own logo and you don't trust your design skills, you can hire other people to do it for you. It actually be very cheap. So the first option for hiring people for getting your own logo is Fiverr. Fiverr is here a website where you can hire people for small, quick gigs, and they'll deliver the projects for you. So I looked up a logo, and as you can see, I will get a drop down of people offering to create logos. Now, Fiverr originally started for projects that were $5. As you can see, these are a bit more expensive. They range from, the cheapest ones will be around $5 up to even $700. So depending on what kind of bundle you are going to get. And depending on what kind of quality. The most important thing when you look at different creators is looking at their ratings. So number of ratings and the quality. 4.9 from 800 people is a really, really good rating. So this person only had 1 rating, and I wouldn't necessarily trust this type of a review. So I like to look at profiles that have more ratings at a very high number. And then you can actually go through the different images and you can see what they have offered. So if you like any of these, you can contact the person and then get them to do a logo for you. You can find much cheaper ones as well. It just depends on what kind of quality is it that you want. The next option for hiring people is Upwork. So Fiverr is a very small basic gigs. Upwork is usually when you want to hire freelancers for more complicated jobs, but with logos it works very similarly. So I've looked up logo, and then I'll get a drop down of people that are offering logos. Again, you want to look at their reviews. So in Upwork, it's categorized as success rate, see how many jobs were successful, and also you want to make sure that you work with people that have earned some money on Upwork. If they're brand new to the platform, you don't know if you can trust them. And then you can either look their hourly price, but also some of the freelancers will work with a project-based pricing. So you can say that you have $100, and that's how much you can pay for a logo instead of paying for an hourly price. When we scroll to the top, you can click on the filters, and then you can select the criteria that you want when looking for a logo. For me, what I look at is the most important is the job success rate. So do 90%. I want to make sure they've earned some money, so I put at least $1,000 earned on the actual platform. The rest of the stuff doesn't really matter to me. The location doesn't matter, any of these categories. I also don't look at the hours billed because some freelancers will only have project-based billing, so they don't bill on hourly basis, but on projects, and they wouldn't be categorized over here. And again, the hourly rate doesn't matter because I would look at the project price, maybe not the hourly price. And then you can go through and select the people that you like the most. And the way it works on Upwork is that you can't hire just freelancer directly. So what you would do is you would go through this process, you would create a job post, you can invite this freelancer, and you can also invite other freelancers to apply, or you can just let it open on Upwork, and freelancers will find your job and they'll apply. So you can get multiple people to apply, and you'll select one of them you want to work with. And the final option, and the most expensive for a logo, is 99 Designs. This is the Rolls Royce of logo making. So the way it works on 99 Designs is that it is a contest. You say that you want to create a contest on 99 Designs. You'll give them specifications about what exactly exactly you want. And several designers will apply and they will submit their proposals. So you can actually see what they create before you buy anything. It's the really cool part of 99 Designs. There are several categories. So you can see logo and identity is one of them. And there are several subcategories in here. But what is relevant for us is the logo and social media pack. So this one starts at $359. So it is more expensive than maybe hiring somebody or getting a logo yourself. But for this, you're going to get lots of freelancers and designers applying, and they'll submit proposals. You can actually see, and then you can say what you like, what you don't like, and you can get several submissions and edits on your preferences. So that's a really cool option. If you're very serious about your business, this is where you can get the sort of a